Hey, 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 y'all. Welcome, welcome. It is Kiss the Ring, and I am back off in this thing. Happy Saturday. Hey, Charge It. What's up, boo? Hey, Gamma. Welcome in. Hey, y'all. I do my early morning like I do a lot of days. I wasn't up to it today. And then I just really, I was thinking about it. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna come out here. I'm gonna do something. I'm so close, you feel me, to my goals. So I gotta keep going. But I wasn't about all that other stuff today. I ain't. I'm straight on them and their stuff. I tried to even listen in on Orange 5150, and I was like, nah, I don't want to hear this ish right now. But anyway, all I heard was her over there talking about bubble guts. I'm like, well, I mean, I guess it ain't too much if the audience ain't too whatever, and that stuff she was talking about. Let me tell you something. I listened just enough, and I'm like, I guess she gonna keep going on and on and on about her bubble guts. But what I did find funny is the fact that she said when she drinks magnesium citrate, it takes 12 hours to activate. Damn. What the hell are you eating? And what the hell is wrong with your insides? 12 hours it take that stuff to activate. She doing that all wrong. All wrong. It do not take it, I don't know how it takes 12 hours to activate that stuff. Y'all know what I'm talking about, that magnesium citrate, that little liquid stuff in a bottle that you drink to make you go. 12 hours after you drink it, that's when you start going. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. I don't know. It's I guess to further describe it, if anybody's unfamiliar, it's the stuff that they have you drink when they want to get you to clean out your colon, your intestines, I mean. But anyway, I ain't heard nobody say it took no damn 12 hours, and I have drank it in the past, and it definitely didn't take 12 hours. Well, one thing about it though, when you take that stuff, you better not go far. Please don't go far until your system is completely empty, or you will regret it. Ooh, we do not play with it. But anyway, I was like, yeah, I don't want to hear that crap right now. Let me see. Let me touch the screen. Excuse me. Y'all speaking. Charger said, Gamma Fa. I'm about to give me a cup of tea, and I'm gonna sit here and go over something I want to read, some information. Me personally, I want to tell y'all, hey, 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 welcome in, happy Saturday. I want to talk about Carmelo Anthony and his situation. I have a little bit of history or whatever. I'm thinking that I might end up doing it in a couple of stages. I gotta send a couple of messages real quick before I get started. I Sometimes this stuff be happening while I'm on here. Sometimes it's let me get it started. And I knew I need to send these messages, but I was like, let me get the live going and then send them. I'm thinking now, I'm like, I should have did it in the other order, but uh before I get going really good, I'm going to send these messages, and then I'm gonna get into. I wish y'all comments would just stay showing on the screen. I have to put myself in a position to where I am looking at um the screen so I can see when it lights up when a comment comes in. That was let me think. Oh, I know what it was. Um mm, I'm trying to decide. Oh, I gotta decide. Um, oops. I just gotta send a message real quick. And this one. No, because if I send that right now, I'll send that when I get off of here. Okay, boom. All right, y'all. Let's take a look at the Carmelo Anthony trial. Hey y'all, welcome in. Thanks for the like. Carmelo Anthony situation. You know the young man in Texas, 17 years old when the situation happened, and he just got off trial basically. And the trial, he was convicted. Oh, I'm gonna get to the whole thing, but I just want to go back in the archives of the hold on. So I got this article, but um back in the archives. Okay, so there was a situation between two students from opposing high school teams, Austin Metcalf and Carmelo Anthony. Austin Metcalf ended up unalive. Carmelo Anthony just got convicted of his, murder. So let's go backwards, okay? Um, and take a look at their backgrounds. Well, the background of the situation, right? So here we go. This is where I'll start. The young man, his name is Austin Metcalf, right? I got a lot of information. So he was born in July of 2007, Frisco, Texas, which is near Dallas. The situation happened in 2025, April 2nd, 2025, and he was a junior at Memorial High School. They say his GPA was 4.0. 4.0 GPA he had maintained, and he was on the track team, and he was a linebacker on the football team. He had a part-time job at a pizzeria. Um then going over to Carmelo Anthony, young man, he was born in May of 2007 in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Um and then in 2021 his family moved to Texas. Carmelo attended Centennial High School, which was it's in the same area as Memorial High School, about 7 miles away. And Memorial High School is where Carmelo Anthony was a student. His GPA was 3.7. He was also on the track team and he played football. He worked. He had two part-time jobs. One at Foot Locker, and he worked at H EB. They wrote a I'm reading a breakdown of it. They wrote HB, but it's called HEB Supermarket. Hey classy lady, welcome, welcome. Happy Saturday. So Austin and Carmelo didn't know each other. When they eventually met, disaster quickly happened. With now going to the timeline of I'm going to call it a alleged crime, because although we already know what happened, it's a matter of opinion as to, okay, I guess you can say murder is murder, but the self defense aspect. that seem to be disregarded. I don't know. We'll talk about it. I don't want to get ahead of myself. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but ooh we. Mm-mm-mm. Um. So on April 2nd, 2025, the police received a report of a stabbing at it's called David Kirkle Stadium. I don't know why they wrote that like that. That word looked different, but like you pronounce it differently. But anyway, it says the stabbing occurred during a track meet. When they arrived, they found that Austin Metcalf had been stabbed. I'm just gonna say certain words. Forget it. They could just flag it or whatever, however they want to do it, right? It says he had been stabbed one time in the chest. He was taken to a hospital where he passed away at 10:23 a.m. Witnesses informed the police that Carmello Anthony was the perpetrator. He was the person who stabbed Austin. An officer found Carmello in the stadium. He approached him and told him to put his hands behind. Uh, told him to put his hands up. As the officer closed in, Carmello said to the officer, "I was protecting myself." That's a direct quote. Now, at the time, they say that the officer had not asked Carmello anything about the stabbing. As the officer was walking Carmello from the track, Carmello said that Austin put his hands on him. Carmello was handcuffed and arrested, and the arresting officer informed another officer that the alleged suspect was in custody. Let me drink some Pepsi till I get my tea. Oh, this cup. Okay, 1 second, y'all. Oh, okay, because I didn't have the screen in the right place. Okay, so the arresting officer informed another officer that the alleged suspect was in custody. Carmelo responded, "I'm not the alleged. I'm not alleged. I did it." That's another quote, a direct quote. "I'm not alleged. I did it." Now, while they holding stuff like this against a young man, I'm trying not to deviate too much, but I might do it a little, but I'll keep it brief because I want to give the backstory. He was 17. Like they gotta consider that. And I feel like, you know what? Never mind. Let me just go through it and then I'll go back to it. That's how I want to do it. It says he did not appear to understand that the word what the word alleged meant because alleged, if they say you're alleged, you can be accused of a crime and be guilty of that crime at the same time. But he was 17. As Carmelo was being walked towards a police cruiser, he asked if his actions could be considered self-defense. So he was looking for legal advice from the police that were arresting him. Breathe. Parents, we gotta. Okay, pause. I told you I changed my mind. I'm gonna do a little interjection here and there. We as parents, we have to. I feel like, especially if we raise in a certain demographic of child, we have to talk to our kids about legal stuff and the police and like all of that kind of stuff. Cause like, don't talk to them without a lawyer for real. especially if you did something, even if it was in self-defense. Nothing. Give them what you got to give them. Talk to your parents. Don't say too much. Get a lawyer, but you got to coach your kids on that, or they don't know any better. Because universally, we are taught to trust police officers and certain people in the legal system. Sometimes some communities know better than others, but you, even if in those communities, don't talk to them. It's not even bad. You could be completely cooperative and don't talk to them, because anything you say can and will be used against you. And unfortunately, the legal system is set up against our demographic, ours. In terms of, when I say ours, I mean mine. That don't mean you listening to me and it's the same. I'm talking about mine. So, and especially our males. You know what I'm saying? So referring to wait, I think I moved it again. Let me see some. Oh, okay. Referring to um Austin, Carmello said, and this is another quote, he put his hands on me. I told him not to. This is him talking to the police. So they just collecting evidence to use against him. He said, okay, no, okay, that's what Carmelo said. He put his hands on me. I told him not to. The police, so this is evidence that they say they found during the course of their investigation. Austin and Carmelo were both at the stadium that day. They representing their respective high schools for the university intercolastic league district championship. Due to a thunderstorm, the track meet was delayed. Competitors moved under tents which had been set up in the bleachers. There were separate tents for each team, and generally students stayed under the tents corresponding to their high school just before 10 a.m. So now that's what that says, but I don't know whether they had two or not, because this is supposed to be accurate. But I heard some say that they had just the one tent, but I don't know why they would only have one. So anyway, they said, like one team does and the other one doesn't. That doesn't make sense to me. But um so Carmelo Anthony sat under the Memorial High School tent, Metcalf's team's tent, but he was invited by a student who was already under the tent. There was about 15 students under the tent at that time. Carmelo attended Centennial High School, not Memorial, so they were questioning, like, why would he be under the Memorial tent? But let's be real. Two high schools located less than 10 miles away from each other means that these kids may cross over neighborhoods, events, hangout spots, etc., etc. So just because you go to the other school doesn't mean you don't know people at the other school. So anyway, but let me get back onto this, because I'm saying, what a weird thing to be like. You're doing an investigation. This is because this is information they say is coming from the police investigation. Why are you questioning why he was under the other team's tent? Like, it's not that serious. It's like fun rivalry, but it's not always that serious. You get what I'm saying? Moving on. It says it was not illegal for Carmelo to be under another school's tent. Um, but they said it was unusual. That's weird. Anyway, but it wasn't illegal. So they say he may have, and I'm telling you, it's there twice. It says he may have accepted the invitation because his high school. Okay, there we go. Because see, earlier it said they had two tents. This one says that his high school did not have a tent. That's what I said, because everybody said there wasn't two tents. Carmelo's high school did not have a tent. So his friend invite someone he knew invited him under the memorial tent, Memorial High School tent, and that's where he went to get away from the weather conditions. So Austin Metcalf's twin brother, the brother's name is Hunter. He told Carmello to move out of the tent. Now, keep in mind, he goes to the school, but like what, you run it? Because, like, think about this. No, 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 no. I want to say something, but I low key want to. Oh, I should have read this and wrote some notes as I went along because, like, listen, this is crazy. I'm just gonna go through it and get a whole backstory, and then I'll go. I don't know how does it. Okay, that's what classy lady said. HEB grocery store. Okay, okay, yeah. Thanks, classy lady. I'm trying to see if I should have had a better plan, but I was thinking I was gonna read through the whole thing and then come back and get my reaction. But I low key want to like talk about it as I go along because this is really crazy. Like, first of all, why is you questioning his location? And then second of all, the brother got the nerve to the twin brother under his high school tent. It's not your high school. You attend school there. It's not your tent. You didn't set it up. Nobody connected you to you has anything to do with that tent being in existence. It doesn't sound like your family was okay, but y'all wasn't like donating tents and shit for the school. So who the hell you think you are? There's some bully bull. You feel me? I think I might do that. I might just deviate back and forth from my opinion to the story or whatever and just put my little 2 cent in as I go along. That's how I'm gonna do it, okay? Because that's gonna be easier anyway. Um and if I do something like this in the future, I don't know. If I'll go back and forth and deviate, I probably will. But anyway, because I'm saying like the twin brother approached Carmelo, um, that's Hunter, and Hunter told Carmelo to move out of the tent. Who the hell do you think you are? Who, like, for real? So that what I'm trying to say when I say that. One second. No, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Um, wait. Okay, one more pause. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Um, so I guess what I'm trying to say is, what if the twin brother never approached Carmelo? Would anything have happened? See, I don't understand why they were so hard. Like, I get it, somebody ended up unalive, but imagine how none of this would have happened had they just minded their damn business. But no, they want to act like they run shit. And they said they were known to be bullies. So they approached him and told him to get out from under the tent. And why weren't okay, anyway. So let me go back. 'Cause I don't want to go too far, even when I add my 2 cents in. Um, not to his a I got to keep my place. He said right after this. Okay, okay, here we go. I'm sorry, y'all. I lost my place, but I'm gonna do better with keeping it when I deviate. Um, so right after right after Austin approached Carmello and repeatedly demanded that Carmello leave from under the tent. That's when Carmello, wait. I think I missed something. Hold on, y'all. My bad. This is not good. Oh, man. Oh, okay. That's what it was. So Hunter approached Carmello, and Hunter told Carmello he got to get off from under the tent. Okay. And so after Carmello was still under the tent, that's when Austin followed his twin brother up, and he approached Carmello and told him repeatedly he demanded that he get off from under the tent. So in response to that, Carmello opened his bag and reached inside. And they say Carmello said, and it's a direct quote, he said, "Touch me and see what happens." This is what witness statements said. And some of the legal that I've seen, because I'm getting backfilled on the story, as I told y'all. And I was doing some looking at some stuff the last few days, trying to see what happened. Because when I initially heard there was a Carmelo Anthony case and people kept talking about it, well, I know the famous Carmelo Anthony. So I just was like, oh, I wasn't interested. And then when I found out who Carmelo Anthony is and what this case was about, then I became interested and I've been doing some digging or whatever. And that was like right, probably like a day before the verdict. It's crazy. Maybe a couple of days before. So when he said, touch me and see what happens, they're basically trying to paint the picture like that was a threat, which it could be a threat. I ain't gonna hold you though. Depending on where you coming from, you say that just like, is it a threat or is it a promise? You coming up on here with that rah rah, you gonna get backed all the hell the way down. And if you happen to perish as a result of it, that's your fault because you should have stayed out of his damn face. Why are you talking to him? This is not your tent. It would be different if he was on private property, their home, forcing his way into their tent. No, he is at a high school. So what, he from the opposing team? Y'all live in the same damn neighborhood. What the hell is wrong with you? You feel me? So saying like touch me and see is not necessarily a threat. It's more like a warning, if you ask me. I'm not about to play with you like the rest of these people. It depends, you know? Um, but he was just letting them know he wasn't getting ready to play. So anyway, so multiple witness statements has confirmed that basically that's what he said. And they say initially Austin said, "I'm not going to fight you at a track meet." That's what Austin said. So if Carmelo says, "Touch me and see what happens," warning, get out of my face, right? Now, and then Austin replies, "I'm not going to fight you at a track meet." Is he innocent? Is he innocent? Does that sound innocent? He didn't say I don't want no smoke. He ain't say I ain't got no beef. He didn't say I don't want to fight. It's not a problem, dude. We just want you from under the tent. No, he said I'm not gonna fight you at a track meet. So you do have beef. And y'all approached him, so you started it. And depending on where you went to school, people don't fight in school. Some areas they fight right the hell in school. Other areas, rarely is there a fight in school. People meet up at the railroad tracks, they fight at the gas station, they fight on the way home. They might fight outside in school. Maybe they might fight it. Maybe they might actually fight at games and stuff like that. But a lot of times people go off. It depends on where you went to school. A lot of times people do not fight on school property. So saying that I'm not gonna fight you at a track meet also, and he plays track, to me that's saying he got smoke. They started with him. So I'm moving on. Right after that, Austin touched or pushed Carmello on the shoulder. He said, I'm not gonna fight you at a track meet. And then he proceeded, that's Austin, proceeded to reach out and physically make contact with Carmello by touching him on the shoulder. But he seems so innocent, right? Continue. So witnesses described the contact in different ways. Some suggested that Austin gently touched Carmelo's shoulder with one hand. Does that even make sense? You didn't approach this boy on beef. They say you and your brother are damn bullies. You're standing over 6 feet tall. He's standing about 5'8". You got almost 100 effing pounds on him. You trying to bully him up out the tent, and then you reach over and gently, like friendly, like, oh, my buddy, new friend, yay, bring it in. Gently touch him on the shoulder. Sound like some bullshit. But anyway, they said that so that's what some said. And then others said that Austin pushed both of Carmelo's shoulders using two hands. Now that sounds more realistic, doesn't it? That sounds more realistic, right? Hold on, y'all. Let me make sure I got this in the correct spot, y'all, because I gotta drink me some tea. Mm. That sounds more like it. Took both hands and pushed him. He is the aggressor. A verbal warning. Listen, I'm gonna do a complete legal breakdown. Maybe not on this one, but I'm telling y'all, like, we're gonna do different days where we're gonna look at different aspects of this situation. Okay. And so at some point, we will get to, you know what? I'm gonna write it down so I can look it up. What's what's the worst threat legally? Verbal or physical touch? That's something I will come back on. I'm gonna have several questions. Y'all know I got questions, but I ain't gonna answer all my questions this time. It depends on how long I'm on here doing this. But y'all know, y'all know if I don't do nothing else, I'm gonna have some questions, and I want to know what's a worse threat. And I also, you know what, that brings me to another question: Is it a threat? Is it a legal threat to approach someone and get in their face? That's what I want to know. And I'm gonna add my own little additional thing. Demanding Nate, your. I'm writing this down, and to be honest with you, my hand specialist, she told me that I should start um using talk to text because I write too much. But I want to know those things. Is it a physical threat, and also is it illegal? It's which one's the worst? I meant to write legal. I have to write that. That makes a difference. What's a worse legal threat? Verbal or physical? And then I want to know if it's a legal threat to approach someone, like to get in their face While man, my writing with this injury is crap. While demanding they leave some property that's not yours. Because I would wager to say that the moment the brothers approached Carmello, they made it their behavior was threatening, and they're demanding he leave, and they're not being cool because they're known to be bullies. And in order for Austin to be able to reach out and physically touch Carmelo's shoulders, he had to be standing close enough to reach, right? To make that contact. And I want somebody else I was listening to, when they described the push, they said, and they watched the court case, and they said that basically they were saying they took like both hands and with like full fucking force pushed the boy. And so you have to be close enough to do that. So what I'm saying is that's very threatening behavior. And yes, he lost his life, but he started it. He started. I'm not being cold or anything. It's unfortunate that that young man had to learn such a hard lesson that he can't come back from. And his brother had to witness that and learn that lesson, which I don't know if that'll make him not be a bully, but they said they were bullies. But at the same time, listen, I grew up with people saying, don't start no ish, won't be no ish. You started it, and unfortunately, it led to this. And now, two young people's, out of all the witnesses, lives are forever changed, and one is incarcerated for 35 years, and the other one is no longer here. So, parents have taken major losses because one set of parents raised some damn bullies. Okay, let me get back to this. So, many of the witnesses determined that, let me see, is that they determined that the aggressiveness and the severity of the contact, they rated it at different levels, how aggressive it was or how severe it was. And you see the range of them saying, oh, it was a light touch on the shoulder, so he used both hands and to full on push him, Austin lightly touched Carmello on the shoulder, or Austin used both hands and full on push Carmello. So that's not surprising that they would turn around and vary the level of aggression or severity. Like it just really, like, some was downplaying it, because how all witness the same thing and y'all literally have varying levels of how bad it was. Don't get me wrong, I know people are biased, and I know people can tell a different story. One person could say the person had on a red shirt, the other one could say orange, the other one could say black, or I didn't see it. You know what I'm saying? That's not the same as knowing how aggressive it was. You knew if it's aggressive, everybody knows it's aggressive. It's just some of y'all playing game. Grandma said, I wonder, is it true that Carmelo was seated and the other boy lunged at him? Ooh, I'm gonna find out. I'll write that down too. Let me see. I'm gonna come back, y'all, with some answers to these questions. Um, I just have to write this down, and then I should just take my other my other device out and you do this text to talk, like like my hand therapist told me. Um, Hold on. There we go. Oh, you know what, y'all? I'm so bad right now, because guess what I just realized? As I'm sitting here doing this, guess what I just realized? My hand therapist made me a second pen. I have a special pen that I'm supposed to write with that's supposed to be helpful for this condition I'm dealing with. And she gave me a second pen yesterday so I can leave one at work. Tell me why I was just sitting here writing with the correct, I mean, not the pen she gave me, just a normal pen. And I'm like, damn, my arm hurt like a. That's because I'm not using my pen and I'm not hard headed. So I just took my pen out. Okay. Oh, oh, there we go. Okay, boom. So back to the thing, the case. Hold on one second. So Carmello, at this point, Carmello produced a knife. It was a folding knife, and it had a 3.5-inch blade. The knife at that time, Carmello used it to stab Austin in the chest. One time, after he stabbed Austin, Carmello ran away. Austin grabbed his chest, and what he said is, this is a direct quote. He said, "I think I got stabbed." Close the quote. He then requested assistance from a bystander. The police were able to recover the knife that was used by Carmello to stab Austin. Carmello, he went into the bleachers, but of course you heard the beginning, so they did eventually find him, right? So moving on, you get to April 14th, 2025, which is 12 days after the self-defense stabbing by Carmello. I'm adding some of my own words, by the way. They said fatal abbing, but it was self-defense from what I hear. So I'm gonna say what I want to say. Mm, that is so good. Whew-wee. I say Anthony was released on bail. Okay, wait. No, okay, so oh, okay. So what happened with the knife? They said the police were able to recover the knife that was used. And because Carmello had left the knife in the bleachers. That's what was in the bleachers, the knife. And they said this is on April 14th, which was 12 days after the self-defense stabbing had occurred. So that's what that was about, the knife. Mm. It says um Anthony he was taken into custody, but he was released on bail. And that happened on June 24th the same year. And later a grand jury indicted him for murder. And then his trial began, which that took almost a year later. So June 4th of this year is when the trial began. 5 days after June 4th, that would be on June 9th. I don't know why this is written like this. No, he said June 9th. The case went to jury. Oh, that's why, 'cause it took 5 days. So it started on the 4th. It took 5 days. On the 9th, the case went to the jury. They had the option of convicting Carmello of murder or the lesser charge of manslaughter. After deliberating for less than 3 hours, the jury convicted Carmello of murder. This is in Texas. So that means that murder in the first degree felony, it's a first degree felony and has sentencing range from 5 to 99 years in prison or life in prison. So at some point, they have what's called a punishment phase of the trial. And at that time, the jury, they were permitted to consider a concept in Texas called sudden passion. With sudden passion, it could permit a deviation from that sentence range of 5 to 99 years. So it said this is not a defense used during the guilt phase of the trial. It can only be used to mitigate prison time in the punishment phase. So sudden passion refers to an offender being overwhelmed by intense emotions caused by adequate provocation at the time of the offense. Sounds like it applies, right? No. So apparently not, because you see what happened. So it says, for example, fear, rage, terror, resentment, or desperation. If the jury found that Carmello was under the immediate influence of sudden passion, the murder would be considered a secondary felony instead of a first degree felony. And the sentencing range would be 2 to 20 years. 2 to 20. Ultimately, the jury rejected the sudden passion argument and sentenced Carmello to 35 years in prison. With his current sentence, he must serve a minimum of 17 and a half years before becoming eligible for parole. This means he could be released sometime around the age of 36. Is that math right? Okay. Okay. And now it's a so too. Yeah. How does that That's not, that don't add up though, because they said 35 years and he was 17. 45, 50. He'll be in his 50s. That is not correct. That right there. He would be in his 50s, early 50s. That's the earliest. Oh, I know why, because I just read the seven minimum of 17 and a half years. So if he goes through a parole board, he'd be in his mid 30s. But if you look at the 35-year sentence, if he ends up serving the whole 35 years, then he won't get out until his early 50s. Now, I just thought about something too. Let me grab this. I want to tell y'all about something else before I go on with that. I want to tell y'all about something else. As early as 36, an accident of um self-defense, basically, because somebody approached him, because somebody approached Carmelo Anthony and he had to defend himself. I'm trying to find a trial that now they have made a docu series. Um, not Yeah, I think it's a docu series on Netflix. Actually, I was sitting here trying to figure out what to do. I think I'm gonna watch that. Um, if I could figure out how to spell this girl's name. If y'all were around on my last channel, I'm not only am I not spelling it right, just not acting like you don't know who the hell I'm talking about. The what? I'm not that far off. What the hell is happening? It's annoying. It's giving me nothing. Did they pay somebody to scrub the damn internet? What the hell? Oh, okay, there it is. I'm like, what is ridiculous? I know I wasn't that far off with the spelling. I spelled it right. It was giving me nothing. There was a trial I had been talking to y'all that I was gonna go over on my last channel right before I got struck out. Up on the docket was Mackenzie Sharilla. Y'all may have heard of her now because they made that docu series and more people are talking about it. Although it happened some years back. So it was in 2022. This is a Caucasian female. She was 17 years old when she did this. She was about like literally days away from turning 18. I want to say she was in Ohio. Yes, Ohio. And I was about to cover the trial because it was kind of blowing me away that this girl with her boyfriend who wanted to break up with her, who kept wanting to break up with her. She had attachment issues. She got the boyfriend and the boyfriend's best friend. All three of them were staying together in his place. And he was really trying to break up with her. And she had already made jokes about like taking him out or whatever, if he wasn't with her. Well, they convicted her. So she got in the car, drove top speed, and went directly into a building, messed the car up. The boyfriend died. The boyfriend's best friend died. She survived. She survived. And then she dressed up and went to do Halloween and also went to a concert while she's supposedly grieving, and she then took two people out. And what they did was they sentenced this girl to, this is for her behavior, and she hasn't shown remorse, right? And she was talking about her dream job and stuff like that, and she had on her IG, and she had just literally done that. Also, when they checked the car, they said it's equivalent to a car's black box like planes have. She never hit the brakes. She literally floored the car and never ever tried to hit the brake, and the gas pedal was full on pressed, and she went top speed into a wall. So she intentionally took them out. 100 miles an hour she was driving. They sentenced her to two concurrent sentences of 15 years to life. Two concurrent sentences. So she'll probably be 20 something years old and out. 20 something. If not, she'll be in her early 30s because she was 17 when she did it. But at the same time, you have, and people be so mad when you talk about race. But race is a relevant conversation. This is a white girl from the suburbs of Ohio, someplace in middle America. One kid was mixed, the other kid was, he looked Italian or something. Then you go to Texas, and you have this black kid and you have this white kid. The white kid was the aggressor, the bully, the initiator. That puts the black kid on the defensive. The black kid is like, Negro, your butt is over 6 feet tall. I think he was, I want to say 6'2". I got that. And you almost 100 pounds bigger than him, and it's you and your twin. That's two against one, and they both big as hell, thick neck ass. And they get up in his face, threatening him, get off from under this tent, put hands on him, pushed him. He already let him know, I'm not about to fight you. Why would he fight them two big, you know whats? Why would he? He pulled out his weapon. Oh, you put hands on me? Boom. I'm sure he didn't mean to kill him. I don't think he did. They get this young man 35 years, but the white girl gets 15 concurrent. She took two lives. Just because they passed at the same time don't mean she gets to serve her sentence concurrently. And I remember when I watched the judge say concurrent, I almost lost my shit. Bitch, Are you serious? It can't be consecutive? You ain't right. It is racism. I don't give a damn what nobody says. I don't care. Flag it all you want to. It's racism. Because if the roles had been reversed, that white boy wouldn't have served no time in jail. He would have had a low bond because initially Carmello, the bond was so high, they end up lowering the bond. They said it was like millions or whatever. I'll have more details. Like I said, I'm just doing round one and I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna keep on digging into it. So we're gonna get all into the weeds of all of that. You millions, and they took it down to 250,000. Then the family was able to get them out because they'd afford the bond. And then all of this is what's happening now. And they immediately shipped him off to prison. I'm sick of people. I'm sick of so many things. And I'm sick of being censored. That's why I don't censor myself. I do a little bit when it comes to the words in this algorithm, but it's some things I don't censor myself. I don't give a damn. If y'all want to stick y'all head in the sand and try to act like we don't see color and all of that, we the ones who try not to see color. They absolutely see color. They just want you to say you don't see color so you can accept the bullshit. But if you accept that, then you accept this slavery. Because wait until we get to what the damn father said after showing up playing, oh, I'm such a Christian, I'm so forgiving, blah, 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 blah. And now that the trial is over, he on some rah-rah shit, racist stuff he's saying and everything. But they don't want you to bring that into the conversation. It is. It is. It's absolutely a part of the conversation. It's ridiculous. Hey, Angel Mom, welcome, welcome. Happy Saturday. Y'all speaking. Gemma said, I wonder what would the outcome have been if he would have chose to get beat to death by brothers. Thank you. Because they could have easily done that. They was clearly on some rah-rah fight stuff. I'm not gonna fight you at a track meet. Not I don't want to fight. Not I ain't got no smoke. This 10 is just for our team. No, get your butt up out of here. And they said that the boys had just came back to school. They got kicked out, and you know who they was into it with the week before? They laid hands on girls. The week before it was females. The way that daddy talked, I'm like, daddy probably was a first bully, because usually it is my opinion that a couple of things are happening with bullies. One, they might like I think boy bullies. I don't know about girls. I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think. But I think a lot of times I think boy bullies are getting bullied at home. I'm no mental health professional. I have to say that all the time. This is literally just my opinion. But the way boy bullies carry on, it be making me think that they begin bullied at home. And a lot of times that mean they first bully be they daddy. And the way they daddy carried on, it seemed like daddy might have low key been a bully while he was talking all that single mother crap and all that other stuff. Whole time he ain't allowed in the house because the woman then put him out. So his boys, the bullies, being raised by a single mother. And he seemed to be the first bully. And like I said, the situation the week before, what happened with Carmello, it was girls. So was daddy a hand layer on mama too? They had a whole lot going on behind the scenes. And as a result of their parents' failure, this young man, Carmelo Anthony, had to get put in a defensive posture, and his defensive strike cost the bully his life. Now let's swing it over to Buckets for a minute. Because she was lightweight trying to talk about this the other day. And she gonna sit up there and talk about it ain't all white people and we ain't putting it on white people. And I done met some some good white folks. I done met some good white folk in my life. Don't you dare be talking bad about no white people. And I was sitting here like, first of all, nobody said all white people are bad. You're clouding the conversation. Second of all, they did do what they did to people, our people that they brought over to this country, and we're not going to act like they didn't. Yes, it's their ancestor. Yes, it's our ancestors, but too many of them are carrying on those same attitudes and narratives. And so, if they want us to get over it, then I'm going to need them to get over the way things were set and we redo the foundation. And until we reset everything and get a fresh start and redo the way things are run and the whole nine, it's going to be a part of my conversation. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I don't care. I don't care. It is what it is. And it makes all the difference in the world. And you know how you know? Because it keeps showing up. And guess where it just showed up? It just showed up in this trial. It just showed up in how the daddy is talking post trial. It just showed up in the fact that all these people legally were connected. The father, the judge, the prosecutor. We don't want to hold them accountable for the things that they have in their situation, goings on, but we want to put this young man who they could have left him the hell alone. It's not like it wasn't enough space for him under the tent. It's not like he was bothering anybody. Who said that he was being a menace, disruptive? Carmello, that is, who said that he was being problematic or anything? Who said he even came uninvited? He literally was invited and he was just trying to take refuge from the rain. But here come these big overgrown bullies trying to run something they don't have no business running. Started with him and he was like, I'm not about to play with you. People, uh, uh, T-Lo, I'm just saying. Hey, T-Lo, happy Saturday. She said, I've been cleaning and listening. I'm just saying, for real, you feel me? Good white people. Good. Don't you dare go talking about no white people. I done stole the most from white people. I came up. I got tires. I paid my daughter's rent. There's some good white folk out here. I was cleaning and cooking for them. Yes, I was. I'm no Molly the maid. I just started got some good jewelry for the pawn store from them white people. Don't you dare go talk. My friends got white friends. My kids, I meant to say, got white friends. Don't you dare. They not all bad. We never said they were all bad. They say we all bad, generally speaking. We didn't say they was all bad. I'm not gonna put it like that. I don't really think so. I'm not racist. I have to say that. I don't know why, but I feel like I need to say that at that moment. I'm actually not racist, but I'm also real, and nobody's gonna silence me. I'm not gonna not call it the way I see it, especially when it comes to stuff like that. And I'll tell you something, even when you have conversations like this, when I was younger, I used to hear people say it, even as an adult, the conversation never changed. When you are like, oh, us, or trying to be, you can't say nothing for your own culture without one of them trying to get offended. I'm not against you, but all y'all get to culturally link. But if we culturally try to link, it's, oh, we're not racist, but we see it as what it is and we gonna call a thing a thing. Y'all had a whole hit. Okay, I ain't gonna go there. Anyway, I just feel like it was completely racism at play in this situation. And of course, we gonna get into the jury and all of that. The jury, there was no representation on the jury or anything, you know. So the whole thing, it wasn't right. But of course, we had to have buckets in here. Like, girl, please, that's what you want to talk about. Don't. Y'all fill out them jury forms because it matters. The jury will never pick you based off of your character. And not even all your kids could be selected. So what is you talking about? Wait. Excuse me, my throat. Let me see. It was racism at play though. It's not always, but sometimes it is. And in this case, I do believe it was. That's what I'm trying to say. So Oh, Angel Ma, she said I'm cleaning also. Hi, T-Lo. uh Church said I'm still here getting familiar with the case by listening to you. Oh, cool, cool, cool. Cause we're gonna do a whole when I tell you we're gonna break it down. So much stuff has happened. Let me see. Um hold on one second. So she said, okay, I will be here. Cool, cool, cool. I appreciate that for sure. She said, so let me go back to the thing. It says Carmello maintains his innocence and he has a large quantity of supporters. I told you he maintained his innocence, but um they saying that on Carmelo's side, they argue that Austin provoked the confrontation, which is obvious, right? So basically it was a justified use of force, is basically Carmelo's point of view. But I just feel like that seems like an obvious response. But they say but this is written, it says justified use of lethal force to protect himself. And they argue that the criminal justice system is racist. None of the jurors in the case were black. The state of Texas disagrees with Carmelo's argument. They say that Carmelo responded to the shove with a lethal knife attack. The response was disproportionate. They say it was a disproportionate response. But I say, how can it be proportionate when size wise they were not proportionate? It's two against one, and they're both around just under 100 pounds heavier than him, even if they were the same height. I want to say the twins was like 6'1" or something, like over 6 feet tall, and Carmelo was 5'8", and the boys had exactly the both of the twins was similar in size, and Austin was 86 pounds heavier. Excuse me, than Carmelo. So how is a knife defense disproportionate when at boxing they are not going to let you box outside of your weight range? They're not going to do it. Now a lot of them are close in height. I don't know. Let me look at this too. I'm gonna have to write this down. Do they have a is a the size standard in boxing height and weight? I'm gonna look at that because I know for a fact they're very strict about that weight. Wrestling too, because they're at a school that probably had wrestling. 86 pounds is never going to happen. So, how is a knife attack disproportionate, is what I'm trying to say. Boxing and wrestling. And let me see, weight and I feel like I'd be writing so slow and I just didn't even grab the right pen. Size. I'm telling you, I'm gonna come back with all these answers. I might even do it now. It depends, but matter slash limit, I want to say. Boom. Next one. Questions that come up. So the question is for y'all, if for what you're familiar with or what you've heard so far, do you believe that Carmelo Anthony is guilty of murder? That's what I would like to know. Do you think that he's guilty of murder? Is it murder with the alibi? Is it first degree? Was it self defense and he should have gotten off? Doesn't matter because he had a knife versus if he didn't. Is it disproportionate in fact, or is it, or does the size of the boys matter? As a matter of fact, just so that I can give you the exact height, let me look real quick. When you think about the Mackenzie Sharilla case and other cases like it, because what is the name of that girl who stabbed her boyfriend, the social media girl? Y'all know what I'm talking about. She was trying to be big time, but it wasn't working. So she had resulted to doing OnlyFans, and she stabbed him to death. I was gonna cover that case too, but I stopped kind of following them. Doesn't matter. Let me see. Of course they're gonna give me they said Austin Metcalf was roughly 6 feet tall and he weighed 213 pounds. Carmelo Anthony was 5'8" and he weighed 130 pounds. I know you lying. I know you lying. And you put them at a mutual point before the knife comes out? Are you kidding me? Gamma said, I believe, yes, the sentence was harsh. Okay, okay, it's murder because somebody passed away, but the sentence was harsh. She said the circumstances seemed to need leniency. Yes, I think so too. Because I understand legally they call it that, but I feel like they could have called it manslaughter because it was self defense. He could have got the lower sentence if they added in those extenuating like circumstances that where they allowed him to take it down to 2 years, and then they could have just put him on probation, slapped him on the wrist because it was a high school fight that resulted in murder. I mean, not fight. I mean, if you want to call it a fight, Austin pushed um Carmello, so he's not innocent. And of course, we know he wasn't supposed to have that knife at school, but ain't no telling what them kids have, especially in an area like that where they don't do sweeps. They talk about he was violating school policy. Them kids, and what about them boys? Or any of the other students, the sneaking alcohol, all kind of stuff. People they violate policies. Nobody would ever known if the other boy didn't pick what to do. They said Carmelo would have known that he was not supposed to have a knife on school grounds. All the other students knew that they couldn't carry knives. Gamma said, and even a separate charge for carrying a knife, but one, under one, no. Yeah, right. But yes, because they could have. But do they usually charge people with that kind of stuff? I wonder. She said, did the other students know they shouldn't have been bullying? Right. Exactly. 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 So they say Carmelo sat under the wrong tent. That prompted Austin to tell him to move. Carmelo responded by provoking. Listen to this. They say Carmelo provoked Austin with his words. So if Carmelo provoked Austin with his words, did Austin not provoke Carmelo by coming in his face demanding he move? What would you do as a parent if your kid came home? Let's say that they didn't have a physical altercation. If none of that would have happened, let's say Austin would have approached Carmelo. No, the brother would have approached Carmelo and told him to move. And then Austin comes in and says, "Get up from under the tent." He's demanding repeatedly, "Get up from under our tent." My question becomes, and then your kid gets up from under the tent. They just walk away because it's not their school anyway. So they just walk away. Number one, how do you think that that goes for that student? How do you think that that goes in the future when those kids cross paths at either a track meet or some track event and they both play football too? So in the future, how does that go for that kid? And then what point does it prove to those bullies? They're happy they just bullied somebody else and they probably won't leave them alone because they're bullies. Would you recommend that your kid gets up and walks away, or would you recommend that your kid tell them to kick rocks? Now, I'm not saying that you want it to result in somebody getting stabbed. I would like to know what y'all have to say. And let me tell you, I don't care about people agreeing with me. We're not going to all have the same point of view. I like to hear other people's point of view too. I care about respect for my channel, for everybody in the chat, agreeing to disagree in a respectful adult kind of way. That's all I care about for real. And I'm going to tell you, when it comes to that, if my kid had told me that, I'll be like, no, because if you walk away, a bully isn't going to leave you alone. They're looking for who they can continue to bully. They're looking for the easy prey. Even if you didn't think the person was a bully, it's not your tent. Get out my damn face. You know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, you don't want your kid fighting. But unfortunately, sometimes it be like that. But of course, you don't want them fighting. But I would never tell my kid, oh, some random from the school told you to move. Is it his tent? Who the hell is he talking to? You know what I'm saying? So, but you can go get an administrator or something. But, you know, sometimes they're biased. So you never know what that outcome is going to look like. Um, Gamma said, did the other student Oh, okay. I read that when she said they were bullying him. So if he evolved, exactly, exactly, exactly. And would they still make them out to be the victims when Austin touched Carmelo first? Would it have been mutual combat at that point? I feel like they would have found any kind of way to swing it. Uh, yeah, I'm drinking tea. Y'all probably can hear me drinking my tea. I told you about that cherry pomegranate Kool-Aid pack. I put it in my tea. It's so delicious. Oh my goodness, it's so good. You got to try it. I put half of a fresh lemon. I got a really big cup of tea. I put half of a fresh lemon and I put the cherry pomegranate flavor pack in it. Oh, you talk about good. It is delicious. I done found my replacement for my pomegranate flavor packets that went away. I found my replacement. If you a tea drinker, especially if you like lemon pomegranate tea, I'm trying to tell you right here, this is what you want. This is what you want. I don't know if I said the brand. It's Welch's. Let me see. Yama said it goes like the bullying would have been doubled down the next time. Exactly. And you talking about this boy and his twin, because both of them approached him. You know what I mean? Like, what was he feeling? I'm sure that he knew he had his friend was there under the tent. So he had to have a clue. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell? They could have been stomping him down and they would have said that he should have just crawled away. Exactly. Exactly. It was very biased. He was supposed to fight both of them. Again, like you said, because what he could have hit one of them and then they could have hit the pole holding up the damn tent, and then the metal making contact a certain way, and he still could have checked up out of here. Then what? Then what would they have said? You know? So, but they're saying that Carmello was provoking Austin when he said, "Touch me and see what happens." But how was that provoking? I just say that's what I was saying earlier. I don't really think that was provoking. I feel like that was warning. Gamma said the life didn't start. Thank you. It didn't start with the altercation. The situation exactly. And those boys are known bullies. They were known bullies. She said that's not provoking. That's warning. Thank you. That's warning. But they said that he was provoking them with his words, touch me and see what happens. So that, therefore they could make the argument that Carmello was looking for an excuse to use his knife. They could swing it, and we already see what they did. That he wanted to be there for trouble. Although Austin pushed Carmello, which was illegal. They say the push from Carmello to no, from Austin to Carmello was in fact illegal. But Carmelo's words, touch me and see what happened, was provoking um Austin. Why didn't Austin have self-control? I don't care. When somebody says something to you, it doesn't give you a right to do anything. So you're telling me that saying touch me and see what happens is provoking, but pushing someone with both hands very hard is not provoking? You see, they pick and choose. And he didn't take heed to the warning. Exactly, because he was a bully. They were provoking him with putting their hands on him, getting that you are standing close enough to him to be able to touch him and demanding that he leaves. You think that he was being nice? Like, get from guy, dude, listen, I know you're from such and such a team, but can you please get off from under our tent? Like, we'd really just like it to be only our track team under our tent, and we don't want anyone else under the tent. So please leave. Do you think that, or do you think he walked this big funky stank tail over there and was like, "Get off from under me"? He probably cussed and all kinds of shit. It was in his damn face. Get off from under the tent first before he touched them. And then Carmel, that was Austin. And then Carmelo was like, touch me and see what happens. Because he could feel the energy. He got the aggressiveness and all of that. And he was warning them, like, yo, son, touch me and you gonna come on. See what's gonna happen if you, and then the next thing you know, Austin, being the big bad bully that he was, took both of his hands and shoved Carmello, and then Carmello came through with his promise. People say whatever they want to say. They can say whatever they want to say. Words. The first person that touched was Austin. So how you blaming Carmello? He just warned him because the dude was already in his face being aggressive. Two young boys um touching him back to back. I mean, not touching him. I meant to say talking to him and getting in his face back to back. Gamma said, he was saying, I'm good as long as you don't touch me. And people, listen, so is that provoking? I don't know if they say it anymore. Remember what they used to say? They used to be like, if you hit me first, I'm a such and such. Not everybody waited for the first hit, but a lot of times in school, people will be like, if you hit me first, I'm a da 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 da. And sometimes that person would hit them first. And then they'll give everything that they asked for and more. But if you say, if you hit me first, are you provoking someone? Are you? So I'm just trying to figure out, like, literally, like, what are they doing? They're just trying to sway stuff. Touch me and see what happens. How is that bad? He's warning him. That's all I'm trying to say. So, um, but some of them are saying that Austin was not overly aggressive, and Carmelo responded with the knife, so that he basically took it to the next level. He stabbed Austin one time, and that was all it took. So they saying that Carmelo used a disproportionate amount of force, and he committed a crime against um Austin. But he only stabbed him once. So it wasn't like a crime of passion. And if somebody in your face provoking you and make you reach for your knife, you might be mad as hell. So you might actually swing with all your might. That's, I'm just saying, I still think that Austin, if he hadn't got in Carmelo's face, none of this would have happened. So here's something what an officer said. So now here we go. They talk about the different factors involved. One, they bring up again, Carmelo was violating school policy by possessing a knife. But even though he was violating school policy, he did not violate Texas law. He was legally able to carry that a knife into the stadium by Texas law, but just not by school policy. Again, they say because he entered the tent by invite only, by somebody inviting him to do that. They're pointing out the fact that it's not like he just decided to invite himself in there. He came by invitation only, which is something I was pointing out too. So it's not like strange for him to be there. And it also was not illegal. So again, he didn't commit a crime when it comes to that. They said that when Carmelo sat down, he didn't antagonize anyone. He wasn't a bother. See, wasn't I raising those questions? Hey, Vegas in the building. Welcome in. Happy Saturday. Carmelo sat down. He didn't antagonize anyone. He didn't start harassing anyone under the tent. He was not looking for a fight. That's based off what the other students said. He wasn't argumentative. He just sat down and took refuge from the rain with his friend, and he was chilling. And then Austin approached him. started a confrontation, basically was threatening Carmello that he has to leave the tent. And this one witness said that Austin provoked the confrontation by trying to coerce or to and threatened Carmello that he has to leave the tent. That's one witness. So somebody literally witnessed Austin being the aggressor. Hold on. They said that Austin told Carmello something to the effect of, "You need to move." Listen to this. This is a witness statement. The witness says that Austin told Carmello something along the lines of, "You need to move before I beat the blank out of you." Oh, they saying it was something along the lines of like, beat your blank. So like the A word, the peach. So that's a threat. But they say if Austin said that, that's a threat. The person said they can't remember exactly what he said, but it was something along those lines. That's still along the lines of a threat. So what's the question? I don't know what the hell this just TV just turned to, but I don't not want to see this. What the hell? Get this off my screen now. Go. Woo. That was not my cup of tea. Mm, 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 mm. It says, but so it's a threat if he said it, but the person can't remember exactly what was said, and it still didn't give Carmel. It says it gave Carmelo a reason to be afraid of Austin. There was also other reasons. For example, Austin was at least just under 100 pounds heavier than Carmelo. And Carmelo, oh, here you go, Gamma. There it is. Carmelo was seated. So when Carmelo was approached, he was seated. So he was at a disadvantage against Austin, who was standing up. That came from, this is from, they saying from trial testimony. It came out that Carmelo was seated and was and basically that he was at a disadvantage against Austin because Austin approached him and was standing up. That's crazy. That's crazy. Wait, she said, read my comment. Um, oh, you saying he was saying I'm good as long as you don't touch me? Wait, which one? Did I miss one? They were provoking him, were putting their hands on him, and he didn't take heed to the. Did I miss? Is that the one you're talking about? Excuse me. I got my throat is so dry today. Mm. Is that the one you talking about, Gamma? He was saying I'm good as long as you don't touch me. You notice sometimes they be putting stuff out and I don't see it. She say no after that. Maybe yeah, they must have held it. It's not showing. See if you can say it a different way. You know how they be tripping. Yeah, 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 yeah. And you know what? I feel like they used to always tell you when they hold something back, but they don't not anymore. People be saying they comments. Do you see it? And it didn't give me a clue that there was even a comment. Um, they say during the trial testimony, they generally indicated that Austin was the one who made physical contact first. And Austin did not have the legal right to place his hand on Carmello. Hand or hands, I'm trying to say, on Carmello. They say that Austin committed hey, Austin committed a crime. Let me get some more tea. Mm. Austin committed a crime when he touched Carmello, albeit most people would not usually be prosecuted for something like that, especially under those circumstances. However, it's still illegal what he did. In addition to being afraid of Austin, Carmello may have been worried about other people joining in and attacking him, like the brother. Let me see, Grandma. It says, I taught my kids, let the talk. I guess let them talk, she said. But as I know what that means, beat they a word. Okay. Okay. Right. That's how it be. I won't, you know what do y'all tell y'all kids? I'll tell you what, I had to tell because my son, it's been a couple of times that my son, my oldest son, dealt with bullies because he was a grade ahead. And so therefore the boys was always bigger than him. Here this little fella, because they're a year older than him. Okay. And um some of the times the boys were out of pocket, and I would tell him, like, first of all, don't let nobody hit you. You size it. If you think they're gonna swing, you ain't swing first, try to dodge the swing. But if somebody make you swing, and I'm just gonna keep it real, this is what I told my kids: if somebody make you swing, don't stop swinging until they pull you off of them. Make them regret that damn decision. We don't hit back once. We don't hit back 2 or 3 times. If you make me fight, the fight ain't over until somebody stop it. Unless they on the ground and they ain't moving, don't keep hitting nobody that ain't moving. You want to find that sweet spot with that one hit a quitter. You hit them, they hit the ground. You ain't got to keep swinging on them. But if you are swinging, I don't care if they fail and they still moving, beat them. I'm just being real. That's what I told mine. No, we ain't trying to take nobody up out of here, but we trying to make people realize you better watch who you fighting. And so the youngest one, he says it right to this day. I'm a lover, not a fighter. He'd had a couple when he was younger, unfortunately. Unfortunately. But the oldest one, of course, first of all, my oldest son is like an outgoing people person, personality. He's attractive. He loves just everything. He be so excited. He wake up in the morning and just be excited. He at school. He got that popularity thing going. The girls liked him, and them boys was some haters. Well, we went through it. We went through it with him and these boys sometimes. They was on some bull, you feel me? But at the end of the day, you gotta show what you gotta show. Cause he was having an issue with a bully. He was in middle school, he was having an issue with a bully. And I'm like, we're gonna have to handle this. But when he finally told me what was going on, and you wanna know how I found out what was going on? I came home from work and my front door was egged. It was dried up eggs on my front door, and it was dried up eggs on my patio door. I said, what the heck? Why are there eggs on the door? I went to the refrigerator and I'm like, okay, well, they're not our eggs. What the hell is going on? Well, he was having an issue with a bully. I said, okay, well, we're going to handle this bully. And that's exactly what we did. And it's funny because we was talking about this the other day, how you end up later being friends with the bully. he graduated high school and he was talking about somebody. And I said, wait, is that the bully from middle school? And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, y'all friends? Yeah, he cool. I said, you better not trust him. I ain't gonna tell you who to be friends with and who not to be friends with, but you better watch him. Do not trust him. You be careful. Cause I ain't, and I'm no, nope, I'm not. Don't trust him. Yeah, me and him, we cool. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. He bullied you. um, he said, Gamma said, period, go off. I'm telling you, if they make you swing, make them regret it. But well again, and I'm sure that Carmello wasn't trying to take that Austin out. I really don't think so. But if somebody gonna put you in a position, they're gonna put their hands on you, they're gonna make you have to defend yourself, make them regret it. But of course we want them to live. I just have to say that because of the context. But um Gamma said, don't take nobody out, but don't let them take you out either. Exactly. 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 Definitely don't listen. They got close for a minute, I guess. And now my son ain't really say after that. I'm like, listen, you better not trust him. He your friend? Loosely. Loosely. Don't go to the club with him by yourself. None of that. Be careful. I'm gonna have to ask him if he still talks to that boy. He don't even mention the boy to me no more. So I don't know how long that lasted, or maybe it was because of me, because I was like, mm-mm. Ain't no way. No, we was in middle school. And that was a long time ago. I don't care. I don't trust him. He bullied you, he chased you home. He did. My son the day of the egg thing, he said that the boy had chased him home. And apparently he had been running from the boy. Unfortunately, he would but it's real. You know what I'm saying? Because people get on here and they tell these weird ass lying ass stories. They be lying. And I'm either not gonna tell you or I'm gonna tell you for real, for real. And that's what happened. He was like, when I saw the eggs, he said he basically they get off the school bus and the boy chased him home. He was a runner, he was a track star, he would outrun the boy and go home. This particular day, the boy was so mad trying to get him come outside and fight. And he apparently went home and got some eggs and just egged up both sides. He tried to entice him on. I'm like, don't. He better not have been pulling my patio door. You feel me? Because like he was trying to get in the house or something. I told him too. I'm like, if one of them doors end up open and he end up in the house, you could do whatever. But of course, we ain't trying to take nobody out. But I'm like, it's bad like that. We end up handling it. I did stop it, and I'm glad that I was able to put it to a stop because they both end up in high school together. Like that would have been hell going to high school with somebody just call themselves bullying you. And what's the problem? It wasn't no problem. My son said just out of nowhere, the boy just started picking with him or start picking with him for no reason. And I'm like, cause you attractive, cause you smart, cause you confident, cause you popular, cause you all these things. And so part of the way we handled him though, I had to go talk to his auntie. That was part of it. I don't want to tell you the other part. I can't tell you the other part. I can't tell you the other part, but I'll just tell you the part that I can tell you. I can't tell you the other part, but I can tell you this. I bet we put an end to that. We put an end because you listen. Some kids you can play with, some kids you can't. Some kids ain't got nobody that's going, and other people do. That's all. But I can't tell y'all that whole story. But I tell you, we made him leave him alone, and then they end up going to high school, and they ain't really interact or talk too much when they was in high school. And then after they graduated, at some point, the boy wanted to be my son's friend, and my son, I can imagine somebody bullying you. You like, oh, now he's nice, that's cool. Forget him. You ain't that ain't your friend. Don't you trust him? So he was careful, and again, I have to ask him when's the last time he talked to him or whatever, because I don't know if he does anymore. He stopped mentioning them. So you got to be careful. Because something I feel like people like I was saying earlier, if a boy is bullying a boy, I think they got something going on at home. They might be getting telling what they're dealing with at home. You know what I'm saying? It's no telling what they're going through. And what is making them be that way. Now, why girls be bullies at home? I think they're dealing with something too. I mean, not be bullies at home. Why they're bullies? I'm talking about kids. I don't really have a full on theory on what makes girls do it, but I really do think that boys be dealing with some aggression. They probably getting picked on. They probably dealing with all kinds of things in their home life. You know what I mean? That makes them come to school and want to be like a tough guy. And in some cases, those boys are being meeting their first bully in life, which is their own father, or they're being encouraged to behave that way. You know what I mean? By whoever it is that main male figure in their lives. Okay, okay, I will. Gamma said, let him know Gamma don't like that boy. I sure will. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. Gamma said, girl, one time she said my son's friend was horse playing and put him in a trash bin. Oh no. She said child the incident. Period. You feel me? You feel me? I'll tell you what, we did not go to the school. We didn't, but I can't tell y'all. I can't tell y'all what we did. But we did what we had to do. You feel me? I know I'll be making jokes talking about a win is a win. I ain't gonna make no jokes in this case because it was two middle school boys. He was in, I wanna say he was in either seventh or eighth grade. The boys were. And the bully's friend, in this case, the boy that chased him home, his friend was a kid still in his best friend was a kid already breaching 6 feet tall in middle school. He was awkward in appearance because the boy that was bullying my son, he was a nice looking little, boy or whatever. It ain't like he was funny looking, but his best friend, this awkward tall guy, big in weight, kind of funny looking, and all the elements that make up for people probably been teasing him. And so that was his best friend. And I guess they both was on some, no, they're gonna pick with him or whatever. But the other boy was the one that which I said, you will not be running. You will not be running from him, and you got the nerve to be smaller than both of them. Oh, okay, that's what you want to do. We got you. So we had him. No kids got hurt in the no hospital visits were done in the handling of this situation. We'll say it like that, but I'm gonna move on because I just can't say. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, though. Kids think they could pick on somebody. What, you thought he was rolling dolo? Oh, this ain't what you want. That ain't how that's gonna go. Nope. Because he ain't got no family members at the same school. Oh, okay, that what you thought? You could just pick. You seemed like an easy target. Okay. Anywho, so she said no, but a statement was made. A point was made. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um. So okay, so they're saying let me go back over to to the case. They're saying that because um Carmello may have been worried about other people joining in and attacking him, it could have intensified his fear, causing him to overreact. Look at the type of words. They're saying he overreacted by stabbing him. So Carmelo stabbed Austin one time and then he ran away. He didn't jump on top of him. He didn't repeatedly stab him. And that could be an argument that he only used enough force, which could have been looked at as justified force because it's what he may have thought was a reasonable amount of necessary force to escape the situation. It's not like he was trying to humiliate. It's not like Carmello was trying to humiliate Austin. You know what I mean? This is what they're saying though. I'm just looking at it and summarizing it. But it's more so like you can see that he was just trying to get away from Austin. But and also after the fatal stabbing, Carmello cried and immediately acknowledged that he was the one who had stabbed him. But he said it was in self-defense. And he never tried to change the fact that he is the one who actually stabbed him in self-defense. He's been pretty consistent with that. That's crazy. Um so yeah, that sudden passion thing seems like it was really the appropriate decision, and the fact that the jury didn't decide that already lets you know, because what um Austin did is definitely he provoked Carmello versus the other way around, the way they're saying it. But they're saying that Carmello drastically overreacted when he stabbed Austin. So the sentence range and not giving him the sudden passion thing is appropriate. I don't agree. I've already said that. And they're saying that what makes it justify the amount of years that he got is because of Carmelo saying, "Touch me and see what happens." That's so fucking stupid. They would have swung that, however, so because they say that makes it look like Carmelo was looking for a fight. How was he looking for a fight when he was sitting down, hiding from the rain, peacefully, not causing a ruckus, not disturbing anyone, and then this bully approached him? He carried a knife because he thought of himself as a. Oh, they tried to say he was a tough guy. He wasn't gonna let anyone insult him. Oh wow, that's crazy. And he wasn't gonna follow the orders of other students. Two tough guys clashed. Wow. They said Carmelo thought he had the right to stab someone. That's crazy. The families of both of the victims claimed that they had been harassed. This is crazy. How to. Damn, that's crazy. That's literally crazy. She said, exactly, exactly, Gamma. One stab is overreacting. Like, what? How is that overreacting? That's what they say. That's crazy. One stab is overreacting. One second, y'all. Let me check something real quick. That's crazy. I'm trying to see if I want to do um the father. Let me see. Let me see if I can get. Why is that not adjusting? Let me see. Is he getting a new trial? There's no question mark on it. One second, y'all. I'm reading something. Okay, that is charged in. So I'm trying to find something. Oh, his trial lawyer spoke. Gamma said, sorry, Kiss. She said, I got you reading a whole different language with these typos. You're the GOAT at chat reading. I'm thinking, no, the thing is, like, I realized once you said that it pushed back the comment, I was like, okay, I know what she mean. No, listen, sometimes I don't be knowing what them acronyms mean or whatever, but it was helpful the way you wrote it. So it ends the same, it's the same amount of letters. I'm like, okay, I get it. I don't know, they tripping. When you put in the words that'll be censored, that was not one of the words that I put in. So I only put a couple of them in because people kept coming in my chat saying a certain thing, but that's not what I put in. So it's got to be their system. So let me see. What was I getting ready to look for? I was getting ready to find um this right here. I wonder if any of the kids, you know what? When I covered that school ooting, I was able to find so many kids speaking on the school ooter. Even though, well, it wasn't when I covered it. It was when it happened. The one that happened where the two parents got convicted. I just had a feeling it was going to go differently. That's why I kind of covered it. And what happened was when it first happened though, I was watching it heavy online, and they had interviewed some kids, and by the time the trial came up, I could not find some of those kids. Like those interviews, I couldn't find them like that because there was kids that were saying they had known him, like they had been in school with him basically all of their lives, and that he was always weird and different and stuff like that. But by the time the trial came, I couldn't find any of it. Let me see. So by now, I'm saying if any of the kids spoke out, it may or may not be out there, but I'm about to look and see. Let's see. They're going to give me court stuff. They said I told him not to. I don't know. Prosecutor challenges. It just seems like the odds were so stacked against him. And why would not more kids not speak up if he was the bully that they say he was? We were robbed. And they said that the boy, the twin, was demanding that actually I think I have this other one where they have a written breakdown as well, because this one talks more about the trial. Let me go find that one where the brother today's really special. My gosh, my finger didn't move nearly fast enough. Where the brother, the twin brother, was demanding that Carmello look at him. And it's like that totally hits different when you know that he approached first on some rah rah bull crap, and now this young man is sitting in court waiting to find out what his fate is. Then changed his entire future when he went from being recruited by top schools, potentially getting ready to go play football for them, to sitting in a courtroom watching the family play victim when they started it with him. I'm looking at something, so because this one thing, like I said, this is a whole write up, but it involves part of the court stuff. It was a national case, they say. We know that. Texas law, because Carmelo was 17, and Texas law allowed for him to be tried as an adult because of that. So this is some breakdown from pieces of the trial. um, defendant. So they saying, okay, basically, in addition to him being allowed to be tried as an adult because of Texas law, once self-defense is raised, Texas law requires the prosecution to convince the jury beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant was not acting in self-defense. And they told them to consider stuff like, did Carmelo reasonably believe deadly force was immediate? Was it immediately necessary to protect himself? Was he facing an unlawful threat of force? Was the amount of force reasonable under the circumstances? If the jurors have reasonable doubt that Anthony acted in self defense, then they find him not guilty. And if they conclude that the prosecution um, disproved a self defense claim, then they find him guilty, which we know they did. So during the opening statements, the prosecutor talked about several pretrial motions that he made for the judge to consider. They had 20-minute opening statements, which were short. So the first assistant district attorney, Bill Worski, began the prosecution, and he quotes, say, he plunged a knife into his heart and ran away. That's what he told jurors. He says that's what Anthony did to Austin. He called it an unjustified, provoked murder. He said the case is not self-defense. He said it was simply senseless. Worski told the jurors they would see the video and that the video tells the story. So it says sevens. So that must be somebody that recorded. He says he references the word witness claim. They said that Anthony said before Metcalf was stabbed, they said, no, not taking it back. He says he referenced words witness claims Anthony said before Metcalf stabbed him, which is touch me, see what happens. Orski argues that Anthony provoked and goaded Metcalf into touching him. So obviously, with the law, you can be the provocateur. You can't incite or bait someone to attack you and then claim self-defense. That's so terrible how they did that. That's crazy. At one point, Worski points to Anthony, who at the same time was a student at Frisco Centennial High School, attending a track meet at Metcalf Frisco Memorial High School. This man, he said, quote unquote, Worski told jurors, made a beeline for the memorial tent. That Carmello made a beeline for the memorial tent. Several memorial athletes told Anthony to leave. This is the prosecutor saying that. So I guess several means the twins, because where else did they say? They said the tent, he said, was their locker room. Worski said Anthony goaded and taunted. Oh boy, this is what the prosecutor said, and provoked Metcalf. Worski said Anthony produced a knife and swiftly plunged it into Austin. Worski said Anthony then ran off and tried to blend in. Worski told jurors that told jurors that students of the track meet pointed out Anthony as he was trying to leave the track meet. Worski told jurors that when an officer arrived at the scene, he encountered Anthony and he radioed the alleged suspect. Worski said the officer repeated that Anthony told him, I'm not alleged, I did it. Anthony also alleged he told the officer he touched me first and I told him not to. Worski told jurors Anthony tossed a knife and tried to slip away from the scene. He told the juror he will see a video from the scene and they will hear from witnesses. You cannot provoke someone and produce a knife and take a life. Now, defense attorney Mike Howard gave his opening statements. He said there's been a lot of noise around the case. A lot of false information are out there. He referred to Anthony by his nickname Mello, and he described Mello as a son, a brother, the oldest of four, and he's a friend. He's a boyfriend. He's a student who graduated 3.7 GPA while holding two jobs, playing football and running track. He told the jurors that Anthony's father worked as a finance manager with a car dealership, and that his mother is a nurse, and that they're from Louisiana. Howard said they wanted their family to have a better life. That's why they came to Dallas, Fort Worth, middle freshman year. They came to Frisco for the better life. Howard described what happened on April 2nd, 2025. Every time, I mean, he said every team at the track meet had a tent except for Anthony's school, Centennial, which only had a tarp. Mello in a normal mood. He's relaxing with his teammates. He said, "Why this school only bring a tarp?" He said, "It's kind of crazy." He said, "Would this have happened if the team would have just brought a tent?" As weather turns bad, Mello goes to look for a place to get out of the rain and goes to the Memorial High School tent where Metcalf is. The defense attorney, he says, "I would feel so uncomfortable." He said, "In high school I would never think of doing something like this." He said, I would feel like I'm invading someone's space. I don't know why, but I mean, unless I know them, unless I knew them and I were like friends with someone's kid or on the other team, I don't know, I feel like this would be extremely awkward. He said, "I wish we could just see the." Oh, no, no, no. That's, what is this? Oh, there's somebody else singing it. Howard told jurors the video, they because they have a video, so that's it. Because they needed to see the video to see exactly what happened. And Howard said he told the jurors that they have a video, and they will see that it establishes some things, but it will not show everything. Mello walks out and sees someone he recognizes from Memorial High School. The two were talking. Everything seemed fine. Everyone there under the tent, except for Mello, is from Memorial. So he did know someone apparently. Defense law is obviously trying to frame it. That's why he's under the tent. Yeah, exactly. Howard told jurors that also and his twin brother, Austin and his twin brother Hunter confronted Anthony, who's 5'8" and 130 pounds at that time, and that the Metcalf brothers were 6'1" and around 213. So that's 83 pounds heavier than um, Carmello. That's crazy. He told him, "As long as you don't touch me, we're cool." They said that Metcalf said, "You don't got anything in that bag," and that Metcalf makes the first physical contact. He grabs, shoves, pushes Anthony. They said in the courtroom, Jeff Metcalf shakes his head when the defense lawyer says he said that, and then he grabbed. Wait, let me see. The defense lawyer says this: grabs, shoves, and pushes. Okay, said Anthony, was forced. The dad was shaking his head. After after Anthony defended himself, he ran. Some of this stuff I already said, so. I'm trying to get into the testimony part. Howard said Anthony fell as he was going down the bleachers. Howard said prosecutors' contention that Anthony was slipping away was wrong. Anthony went directly to the coach, reframing it, they said. Prosecutors called their first witness, which was Mark Porter, the forensic video analysis. Mark Porter testifies about his analysis in the surveillance. I don't know, my face is itching for some reason. Surveillance video from the track meet. There were 5 different videos. Prosecutor shows the first video of the jurors in the courtroom. It's a wide shot of to the jurors. It's a wide shot of the football stadium with only half of the field visible. It's difficult to see, and Porter said he worked on magnifying to help state review the video. Still images appear to show Anthony handcuffed and walking with 2 officers. Prosecutors DeWay and Mitchell showed jurors zoomed in video from the stadium from the day of the stabbing. It shows the yellow Memorial High School tent, figures under the tent. Mitchell witnessed Porter take jurors frame by frame, showing Metcalf entering the tent at 9:54 a.m. A few minutes later in the video, Porter testifies that it appears one person pushes another, but it's unclear who is shown. Another video from another camera, Metcalf and his twin brother walking into the stadium. Metcalf, their father, has his head down, not watching. Their mother, though, appears to be watching. Another video shown to the juror is showing an individual getting handcuffed by an officer. Someone is shown dropping to their knees, and what appears to be staff running in and out of the frame, directing people with their hands. The judge then calls lunch break. After lunch, they go over the surveillance video some more. None of the videos They said none of the videos that they saw that day showed the altercation or the stabbing. The images in the video are not clear because they had to magnify them to see. Also, it was raining that day, and there's people walking around and holding umbrellas as they cross around the tent. The prosecutor, Dewey Mitchell, appears to be trying to establish how much elapsed from the time Austin and his twin brother entered the stadium and reached their team's tent until the altercation. Mark Porter testified that after the altercation, he believes it is Carmello Anthony running, perhaps jogging away from the tent. He believes. No one cares about his speculation. Anthony appears to be moving towards the entrance of the stadium, so it looks like he's going towards an exit, apparently. At least that's what this witness is saying. He said, juror appears to be intently. Oh, okay. The jurors were intently watching the video. Half the courtroom cannot even see the TV screen facing the jurors. There's only one video screen and it's facing the jurors. So it's more so continuing to show the spotlight on Anthony's movement away from the memorial tent and towards the entrance of the stadium, which is where he was met and arrested and escorted out. Wow. Even people in uniforms, it says student in uniforms went from running to casually walking and exiting the stadium. 15 minutes time elapsed. This is how this witness, excuse me, this how this witness ended his testimony. He said 15 minutes time had elapsed from the time Austin and his twin brother walked into the stadium to the time Anthony led away and under arrest. And guess what? That just means they didn't waste no time bullying. Defense attorney Toby Shook cross-examines Mark Porter. Shook gets Porter to admit that the video doesn't definitely show when the argument between Anthony and Metcalf began or end. Porter testifies that there appears to be some shoving in the video. Porter said it's possible that the person being pushed may have been sitting down. There you go again. Porter says it appears to be a shove. And when they asked by Shook, and when asked by Shook, could it have been a punch? Porter answers that it's possible. So it's a shove, it could have been a punch. Porter testifies that they can't tell with certainty whether it was a shove or a punch. So defense lawyer now has some reasonable doubt that it's a shove or a punch. I'm sure. Okay. It says after the incident, the video appears to show Anthony walking in the track. He is met by a coach who has his arms over him. What looks like some form of an embrace. It appears Anthony is squatting on the track, grabbing his head. Shook appears to be trying to make the point that Anthony did not run away from the scene and hide like the state said he did. The prosecutor's next witness is Robert Starr. This is Robert Starr, who is the head track coach for Memorial High School. The prosecutor, Bill Worski, shows jurors pictures of the Metcalf brothers. Their mother wiped her eyes. Coach Starr told the jurors about the importance of these team tents at the track meets. He also said they are meant specifically for students of the school. Worski said, do they have any policy on bringing weapons? Witness explained, weapons are not allowed in any shape or form or fashion. Starr testified the kids have to sign a code of conduct that includes a prohibition on bringing weapons to the school events. He said kids bring weapons that may happen in some inner. Look at this shit. Not you taking shots. They talking about kids bringing weapons may happen in some inner city districts. He said, but Memorial was hosting a track meet and he asked several of his upperclassmen to be leaders on that day. He said he sent a text to Austin to step up and be a leader that day. He said there was no official rain delay during the district meet. The coach testified that when he went over to check on the commotion at his team tent, he see Austin on the ground, his face purple, and there's a big hole in his chest. First of all, you asked him to be a leader that day, and his way of being a leader was to bully someone and put his hands on them and talk to them crazy. Are you kidding me? And ain't no telling what weapon Austin had. Not the coach trying to defend Austin and the brother like they all good. So now he taking shots talking about inner city. But the kid don't live in no inner city. And it happened in your district. So what you mean inner city? Are you the inner city? They be blowing me with that one. He said, my eyes. The coach they're talking about this comment where they said that Carmello said do something. Wait, he said students point to Anthony as he was walking to the track. The coach said he approached Anthony. He was walking very calmly and asked him, "What the hell did you do?" He said Anthony responded, "He put his hands on me." And the coach told the jurors he threw his hat and put his hands in the air as he is overcome by frustration and emotion. That's the coach saying that's what he did. He said everybody was praying. The coach testified and started becoming emotional. Jeff Metcalf doubled over in his seat, crying quietly, shaking his head as the coach also cried. These people put on such a show. They did. They said everybody was praying. The coach, oh, no, I read that. He said, on the stand, the coach said, I just knew Austin was, I guess he's saying good. He said the coach told the jurors, Jesus. He said some intent. They blanked it out, so he must have, I don't know if he cursed or whatever right there. He said, Coach identifies Anthony in the classroom, saying he looks different now. He's clean cut today. Coach Starr, who is, why does it matter? They said Coach Starr is black, and he testified that he threatened to kick Austin Metcalf off the track team because he decided to go fishing and leave early from school, a school event. Starr said he let him back on the team for his district meet because he was a captain of the football team and wanted him to learn a lesson. Wow. You hear that? Mm-mm-mm. Prosecutor showed a text exchange between the coach and Metcalf. The coach said, be a leader. I'm going to lean in on my older guys for sure. He said, Coach, I got you. He said the day after the stabbing, the coach said he texted him at um somebody's phone, even though he knew the young man was gone. He sent the text. It says to Cass's phone, but he knew he was gone. He said, love you, man. Sorry I didn't say enough. He cried in the court as he read the words aloud on the cross. On cross examination. Here we go, he said, defense attorney told Toby Shook asked the coach about the track culture, and Shook asked if buddies ever go and talk to someone in another team's tent. He said it's not common. This is what they asked the coach. He said not a part of the team's policy. He said the coach answered because of security, people's personal belongings, etc. Coach testified he did not know that Centennial Anthony School did not have a tent that day. So the defense tried to get it out that if your friend was someone, you can go to the other school's tent. But the coach was like, nah, you don't really do that. But the rain could change that. Like if the team doesn't have a tent, like the kids looking to try to get out the rain. But why is there a track meet during the rain? He said, can't people just like slip and slide and like get, injured? Or said next prosecution, because there's no answer. Just asked, like, why? He said, next prosecution called Tiffany Whitaker, Memorial High School's athletic trainer. She told the jurors the track tent is like a locker room. The visiting team does not go to the home team, which she called an unwritten rule in track culture. If you think about football too, imagine football going under another team's tent. That ain't gonna happen. She said including baseball. She said it's not flying, but it's a different sport. She said there was a lot of confusion on that day because of the rain. She said at one point she heard screaming. She saw students pointing out Anthony as a person involved. She told another coach that Anthony stabbed someone and to get in front of him to prevent him from walking further. She tended to Metcalf. She performed CPR until the paramedics arrived. She went into autopilot. She says she just kept going until help arrived. She told jurors that she said she was not hopeful when she saw the wound. Then the next witness is Coach Vincent Hooper. They asked him about track culture and the use of the tent. He said, you want your kids in your camp. He said, after stabbing another coach, wait, after the stabbing, another coach asked him to hold Anthony. So he put his arms in, he got him and he put his arms around him and asked, what did you do? Coach Hooper said Anthony answered, he put his hands on me. I stabbed him. Coach Hooper told Anthony that this could change his life if Metcalf died, who protested that Anthony told him he's not going to die. Metcalf's mother, who was in the courtroom, began crying. Hooper described Metcalf after he had been stabbed. He was pale, white, and there was a puddle of blood. Defense lawyer Toby Shook asked Hooper whether he agreed, and Anthony genuinely felt upset about the incident. Hooper said he did try to show the jury there was remorse and he wasn't like ruthless after the killing. So that's what the defense lawyer is trying to show. He said, so that was pretty much that. That was his purpose. Let me see how much further I got to go on this. It's a decent amount. And I'm a little bit tired. That's why I had to check. So I'm going to put a pin in that. That's the testimony. Some of it. I think I painted a general overall picture. There's some other aspects of this I want to cover, you know, some other aspects of it. But I don't want to do it right now. I'm tired. Even though I've been chilling all day. I'm a little hungry. I'm about to go make me something to eat, I guess. And I'll come back. I knew I could never do it all in one shot anyway. I said, let me do as much as I can. Come back. I got some questions that I'm going to answer. I have some other information as well. And we're going to dig into this case and kind of get it's somewhat of a general synopsis. Like if you didn't attend the trial, you can get some of the key points or whatever from the various testimonies within the trial and the aftermath. Charleston White, he was involved. He was down with the family. He offered to put up, jumping ahead, if you haven't seen it, Charleston White was defending them. It wasn't right. He was mad. He was speaking out on the family's behalf and on Carmelo Anthony's behalf. He said he'd been talking him through this whole thing. He was going to put up $75,000. They wanted to raise more money. So I guess they have a GoFundMe, but they also had money that he put up and they were trying to raise more money that they can. Carmello said $1 million because they want to get the best legal defense for Charleston, I meant to say. He said because they want to get the best legal defense for Carmello and try to get him out of this situation. There's more to talk about when it comes to the judge and people involved on the legal aspect, and woo wee, it's just not right. But at this point in time, spoiler alert, Charleston White came out and said, I ain't dealing with y'all. I'm done with this. So, something ain't right. Thi- Things are going off of the rails. I mean, it's been off the rails because this ain't right. The way they handled it isn't right. And all of that. The fact that once he got prosecuted, they basically expeditiously shipped him off to prison and all of that. But y'all, I'm a little tired. I'm trying not to make sure. I'm trying to make sure I don't sound like I am as tired as I am. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up, and then I'm gonna end up coming back about it. Maybe tomorrow we could do some more, but I'm gonna keep making my way through this and we're gonna break it down. So you'll see it in the title. It's gonna be like Carmelo Anthony or Carmelo Anthony's situation. And if something do come out, we might handle that or whatever. But I'm gonna continue to do the general synopsis breakdown. I mentioned it last weekend. I think it was somewhere around there that I was going to be doing like some legal stuff. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and I was going to I have a particular type of case that I want to continue to look at because I keep seeing certain cases coming out. But then I saw all this stuff going on and it kind of made me want to do this. So I'm going to do this one. And then we gonna go into doing those other kind of cases, and we gonna go from there. So it'll be not legal night necessarily. I'm gonna, because I don't know right now whether I could do the same night every single like day of the week, like every whatever insert day, but it'll be a weekly thing on one day of the week. And so that's how that is. That's how that goes right now. I want to say thanks everybody that came in. Thank you for your support. Thank y'all for the likes. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. For all y'all that drop in the building, y'all know I'll be trying to shout out content creators, although I don't do it as much anymore because I'll be driving, I'll be moving around, I'll be doing a little this and a little that, and I can't always look at the screen. I was going to tell y'all that too about Car Chronicles because, man, yesterday, the way I was messing with that phone and all the stuff I was trying to do, and I was thinking about it today, I'm like, man, from here on out, when I do Car Chronicles, I will look at the screen when I really, really can. Sometimes I'll be taking chances trying to look when I really know I ain't got no business looking, and I'm not doing that no more. I'm not doing that anymore. If I can look, I will. If not, I won't. I'm gonna have to let y'all know. And then I'm not taking, it's not even penitentiary chances, it's more dangerous chances. Cause being real, yesterday I looked way more than I should have. And a couple of times I looked down and I looked up and I was like, oh no, I can't be playing around like that. Cause if I keep playing around like that, I ain't gonna be so lucky one day. So I'm not gonna do it. But I still will continue to do Card Chronicles. I just have to look at the screen whenever I get a chance to or whatever. So but with that being said, thank y'all for tuning in. And I appreciate everybody. I appreciate all y'all support. Yes, yes. Okay, yes, yes. Gavin, she said court is in recess. Yes, court is in recess. We will be back. For this, continuing with the legal information, the summary. Gamma said, thanks for the breakdown. Yes, yes. I'm trying to give it to y'all like in a summary form. So I hope y'all really, really like it. Yes, yes, yes. Gamma said, stay safe, period. Got to. That's why I'm like, listen, I be trying so hard, but I'm like, nah, bro. Cause a couple of times I looked up yesterday and I know I was on the road a pretty decent amount. So I was trying to get it all and like, nah. I say, nah. I thought about it today. I was like, a couple of times. I say, no, 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 no. Because if I keep playing like that, it's going to end up not so lucky. So, yeah, so I'm going to have to do that a whole lot different. But thank y'all. Thanks, everybody that came in. Shout out to y'all. I was going to shout out to content creators that was in the building. I can't go all the way to the top, but I think I'm relatively close to the top. I'm probably going to get everybody. If I miss you, my bad. It's not intentional. You're welcome to drop a comment or whatever if you see it somewhere else. Yes, indeed. So classy lady, y'all see her name on the screen. CLAC lady LDY. Classy lady. She's a content creator with a whole channel. Y'all go check her out. It's Gamma's World. I'm like, do I really need to spell everything? It's and then GAMMAS. Gamma's World. Y'all go check her out. Let me see. Angel Mom was in the building. It's Angel Mom 266. Y'all check her out. Let me see who else. Yeah. Okay, cool. What did I want to tell y'all? I wanted to tell y'all one more thing. I wanted to talk about that list that I got going, completely unrelated to this legal breakdown, but I got a list going on my page about the crap buckets fallout. That's another thing that I cover over here from a different sector. So if y'all want to go look, check out the comment section or what I mean, check out the list. And if you see anybody that I missed, please drop them down in the comment section. Because when I tell y'all yesterday, I remember to add Monica Clay to the list. And I was like, now that's taking it way, way back. And somebody dropped in there and said, Too Raw TV. And I'm like, that I mentioned somebody I was trying to think of and I couldn't think of the name. And I'm like, that was it. It was a few of them. And when y'all have came through, I'm like, that was one of the names, Too Raw TV. So if y'all don't see somebody on the list, please let me know. The list is currently at 70. And with the names I still have to add to it, and what I predict y'all probably gonna continue to add to it, we gonna be, I was gonna say in the 80s this time, but it wouldn't even surprise me if we go higher than that. Because when I thought about Monica Clay, I was like, oh shit, we might. It wouldn't surprise me if we don't even go much higher into the hundreds. It's because it's subscribers, you know what did happened over there. You know what? I could just go. Okay. I'm like, this is literally crazy. But to fall out with that many people is crazy. So let me tell you what I'm talking about as I wrap this up. On my channel, if you guys have not subscribed, please do subscribe. Consider subscribing to my channel if you feel like it's a place you want to be. I do adding in this new element is going to be some legal commentary. The way I'm going to do it is I'm going to give you the summary of a case and we're going to talk about it. The case that I'm doing right now, I'm looking at the situation, not just the case, but all the circumstances surrounding the Carmelo Anthony situation. That happens to be a national case, so it's going to be more familiar. Other ones aren't going to be national. You may or may not be familiar with them, and I think they're going to have a particular theme because those are the kind of cases I've been looking at. And we'll discuss the summary of the case or the situation, and then we'll just have like a conversation a conversation about it. So that's something new. That's the legal breakdown. On Wednesdays, it's way back Wednesday musical hour. So we're gonna go back in time. We're gonna play some good old throwback music, and just vibe out. So Gamma's World. She has a way back Wednesdays where we talk about old stuff and kind of go down memory lane, have some pleasant memories, exchange. Remember this kind of candy? Or remember the places we was hanging out? It'd be like that, y'all. It'd be so fun. I'll be having so much fun. So y'all got to check that out, and then pull up over here for the after party, and we keep that way back theme going, and just play some way back music. Yes, yes, yes. And I would say a good time will be had by all. Listen, let me tell y'all, last week or this week that just passed, this Wednesday that just passed, the ladies was in the chat. Boy, they was having a good time. You hear me? They had set the scene. What you drinking on? Who I bought you drinks. Like, you hear me? It was a whole good time was had by all. I was like, look, what y'all wearing next week? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, where we meeting? Where we pre-gaming at? You know where we pre-gaming? We pre-gaming on It's Grandma's World. And then after the show, it's the after party, and we come over here and we get it in. So that's way back Wednesday. And then I'm gonna do some car chronicles. And car chronicles can be about a little this, a little that, or whatever. I do ASI content, so it's my reactions to the goings on in the ASI sector. I got to get caught up on that. And then I'll have some more reactions coming. So those kind of things might happen during Car Chronicles. And I do reactions to things that are going on within the LA sector, the Latrice Allen sector. And so yeah, it's a bunch of drama when it comes to that, but it just be reactions when it comes to that. And I got another thing too that I want to introduce, but I don't want to announce it until I'm really ready, because I got to figure out how I'm gonna make all of this work. But it's one more thing. It's also something I used to do on my other channel, and I'm gonna bring that back. But I want to organize it a little better, so I'm not gonna announce it until I figure out all the logistics of that. But that is the kind of stuff that you will find over here. And so I just wanted to let y'all know. So if you're interested in that and you don't want to miss it when it happens, please consider subscribing to my channel. Put your notifications all, and you will see every time that I go live. Also, I cannot not mention the shorts. I got to do some more. I do comedy shorts. They're like skits. Sometimes it's based off of something that happened. Sometimes it's based off of something that someone said, and I just get an idea and I just run with it. So if you like to laugh, especially if you want to laugh based off ASI or Latrice Allen kind of goings on, or maybe something that's happening in the world, also subscribe so you can catch my shorts. And if you haven't seen the shorts, please go over there and check out my shorts and let me know if you like them. I like y'all feedback when y'all be, giving me whatever your comments on the shorts, because I'll be thinking they funny, and I'll be trying to make y'all laugh. So when y'all give me that feedback, it lets me know if it was a hit or a miss on the comedy side. So let me see. I saw a couple of comments. She said, oh yeah, see, it's Grandma's World. She said, I have so much fun. You feel me? Y'all don't want to miss it. You do not want to miss that way back Wednesday. Talk about having a ball, running down memory lane, you know what I'm saying? When life was a little simpler, you know what I'm saying? Yes, good times. And then vibing out. Yes, yes, yes. She said, yeah, Grandma said we was in Club Kiss, period. Ooh, I might have to change my thumbnail. Ooh, I like that, Grandma. I am. You know what? I'm about to sit here and chill and enjoy a little bit of quiet. And while I'm doing that, guess what I'm about to do? I'm about to change my way back Wednesday thumbnail. You just gave me an idea. Ooh, that's great. That's great. That's great. Yes, indeedy. She said, let's go. Yes, period. All right, y'all. So let me get up out of here. Thanks, everybody, again. I hope y'all have a great Saturday and the rest of your weekend. If I don't see you back here or in somebody's chat in the meantime, in between time, I wish you guys all the best. And I'm going to catch y'all on the rebound. I am out of here. Peace.